And then we start in the front of the truck. But look underneath the truck right here, you'll be like this. I see no hanging wires or no oil, no puddles on the ground. It can indicate possible suspension issue or leak. Truck ain't leaning from left to the right. Look, see if my truck leaning from left to right. Then it's not leaning from left to right. Then I walk up here. Those are my clearance lights. They are properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing any hardware. They're clean and clear and amber in color. And then I come up right here. This is my headlights. These are my low beam, that's my high beam. Low beam, high beam. They properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing any hardware. They're clean and clear in color and they are functioning. This is my side marker, four-way flasher turning signal. It is amber in color, clean and clear and functioning. Then I open the hood. Clear. Open the hood. Then I go around here, from here. Hoses and fittings. My hoses and fittings. They are properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing any hardware. There's no abrasion, bulges, cuts, straw rods, or frays on this hole, and it doesn't leak. This is my cap, my radiator reservoir cap. Do not open that while it's hot. And it's at the correct operating range. It is properly mounted and secure. Not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing any hardware. There's no abrasion, bulges, cuts, straw rods, or fray, and it doesn't leak. And it doesn't leak. Then I go from here to my dipstick and pull that dipstick out. Look at that. See if it's at the correct operating range. Wipe it off, put it back in there, recheck it, make sure it's right. This is my oil refill cap, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing any hardware. There's no abrasion, bulges, cuts, dry rods, or fray, and it doesn't leak. Then I come down here to my steering gearbox. This is my steering gearbox. It is gear driven. It is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing any hardware. This is my power steering reservoir. Power steering reservoir. Make sure it's at the correct operating range. It is properly mounted and secure. Not cracked, bent, or broken. Not missing any hardware. There's no abrasion, bulges, cuts, star rods, or fray, and the reservoir doesn't leak. This is my pitman arm, my drag link, and my tie rod. This is my pitman arm, drag link, and my tie rod, held together by a council nut and cotter pin. It is properly mounted and secure. Not cracked, bent, or broken. Not missing any hardware. My leaf springs, they are not shifted. My leaf springs are properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing any hardware. These are my leaf spring hanger. This is my leaf spring mount and my leaf spring hanger mount. That one right there. Hanger, my mount and my hanger mount. It is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing any hardware. This is my shock absorber. This is my shock absorber. It is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing any hardware, and it doesn't leak. This is my brake chamber. Brake chamber. This is my brake chamber. It is properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing any hardware. This is my brake chamber hose. It's properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing any hardware. There's no abrasion, bulges, cuts, straw rods, or fray, and that brake chamber hose doesn't leak. I go inside here, my drums and lining. Inside here, my drums and lining. There's no DOG. There's no debris, oil, or grease on my linings. And they're properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing any hardware. Now I come out here to my tire. This is my steer tire. It should have at least 30 seconds of tread depth. It should be worn evenly. It is properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, broke, not missing any hardware. This is my sidewall. This is properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, broke, not missing any hardware. There's no space in between my rim and my tire. This is my rim. It is properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, broke, not missing any hardware. There's no illegal holes and wells. These are my lug nuts. It's properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, broken, not missing any hardware. There's no rust trails or shiny threads that could indicate looseness or cross-threading. This is my valve stem with metal cap. Should be at least, you can find the writings in the sidewall on the side of the tire. It should be at least 100 to 120 psi in the tire. It is properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, broken, not missing any hardware, and it doesn't leak. You know, y'all want more, or you want the whole truck, or that's okay? That's enough. Yeah, break it into forward/turn signal, amber and color, clean and functional. Traffic monitoring devices, rearview mirror, whichever one you want to call it. Traffic monitoring device, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing any hardware. This is my battery box, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing any hardware. There's no excessive amount of corrosion, and it doesn't leak. Battery box. Right here, my steps. No debris, all the grease. Properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing any hardware. And I come back here. This is my truck side. These are my airlines and my electrical lines. Airlines, electrical lines. They're firmly locked into place, and they're properly mounted and secure. Not cracked, bent, or broken. Not missing any hardware. There's no abrasion, bulging cuts, draw outs, or sprays in there. Doesn't leak. My lance lines are hanging freely above the catwalk. My catwalk, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing any hardware. This is my steps, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing any hardware. There's no debris or grease. This is my frame and cross member. Frame and cross member. Properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing any hardware. There's no illegal holes or wells in my frame. These are my glad hands. Right here. These are my glad hands. They're properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing any hardware. That right there is called a grommet. The rubber piece there is called a grommet. That will keep the air in. You ever hear it leaking? See, them grommets are worn out. They need to be replaced. They're properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing any hardware. And they're firmly locked into place. This is my electrical line. It's properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing any hardware. Electrical line. See the pinhole right there? If you ever go down there, somebody pull up beside you and tell you your trailer is lights are flickering. That's because these here don't spread it too wide. I need this here. I get me a little pocket knife. I come in here and I spread that open. Then that make you touch. Gotta make them touch. All right. Then it's right here. Our clearance lights, properly mounted and secured. Our cracked, bent, broken, not missing any hardware. No, there's red or amber in color, clean and functional. My airbag, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing any hardware. There's no abrasion, bulges, cut, draw out some sprays on that airbag, and it doesn't leak. This is my apron. This is my apron. It's properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing any hardware. It's sitting flat on top of my fifth wheel. And on top of my fifth wheel is my skid plate. There's no space in between my skid plate and my apron. It is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing any hardware, and it's properly greased. This is my sliding fifth wheel rail with locking pins. Right here, the two pins there, they're locking pin. This fifth wheel rail, this here thing will slide if you want to kind of move that weight on it. They tell you got too much weight on your axle, drive axle. This is how you move it right here. Yep. Pull that pin on there. It's inside of that truck. It's a pin in there. They put a button in there. You push. Those will go in, and you can move that motherfucker up in there to change that weight on this axle. He done did all this before. He's just waiting to come out with y'all. That's easy stuff. Once you get in and do it, man, it's super simple. Once you do it one time, you get on the road. You may think it's a lot, but it's not. I promise y'all. We're gonna keep going. Platform. This is my platform. My fifth wheel sits on top of the platform. It's properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing any hardware. This is my fifth wheel mounting bolts. These bolts right here, these are the mounting ones that mount the fifth wheel up there. It's properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing any hardware. That piece right there is called a fifth wheel. Remember, I told you this is the fifth wheel. On top of the fifth wheel is called a skid plate. That's it. Remember that. On the top of the fifth wheel is the skid plate, because I'm going to ask you that again to make sure you remember. But the whole piece is called a fifth wheel. Just the top is the skid plate, because the trailer has to slide on top of it. And it's why it's called a skid. Now, in between that, you got your locking jaws. It's properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing any hardware. They lock around the shank of the kingpin. The kingpin hangs off the bottom of this trailer. Goes into the fifth wheel. That's why you ram it. Because you want them locking jaws to pop out, and they locks around the shank of the fifth wheel. And then I'm going to do my 303. It's 3 foot of space between my apron. My mud flap with my landing gear. 0 space between my apron and skid plate. 3 foot of space between my truck and my trailer. That's the 303 rule. This is my landing gear. Properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing any hardware. My landing gear is all the way to the ground. These are my landing gear feet. It is properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing any hardware. This is my landing gear frame. Properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing any hardware. This is the side of my trailer. This is the side of my trailer. It is side frame of my trailer. Properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing any hardware. This is my DOT reflector tape. DOT reflector tape covers 50% of the trailer and is not ripped or torn. Under here is my floor and the cross members. Under here is the floor and the cross members. It is properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing any hardware, and it's cargo worthy. You're gonna go down here to this light right here. This is my side marker, 4-way flash, turn signal, amber and color, clean and function. Properly mounted and secured, not cracked, lifted, broken, not missing any hardware. Then we're gonna come down here right here to the tandem. This is my tandem release arm. Tandem release arm is in the lock position. This is my tandem sliding rail, and tandem locking pins. It is properly mounted and secure, not cracked, lifted, broken, not missing any hardware. Then we're gonna go right here. My AVS light, properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent or broken, not missing any hardware. Amber in color, clean and functional. My marker light, properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent or broken, not missing any hardware. Red in color, clean and functional. I'm gonna come to the back of the trailer. Coming to the back of the trailer. This is my look, that light here. These are the lights you were talking about. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, that lights, they still but see, yeah, see on the back of that trailer, they get stuck sometimes. Okay. They get stuck sometimes. Yeah, on this one specifically. Right here. This is my marker light. Well, my marker light is here. But this is my brake light, turn signal, and four-way flasher. It is properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing any hardware. Red in color, clean and functional. On the back of my trailer, this is my DOT reflector tape. It's not ripped or torn, and it covers 100%. Remember, on the side, it covers 50%. In the back, it covers 100%. Properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing any hardware. Those are my clearance lights up there. You see them? When somebody that lets you know if you can go up under these certain objects, because those lights right there represent the top of the trailer. We call them clearance lights. Properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing any hardware. Red in color, clean and functional. Now I would expect my right side, just like I did my left side, except for my crank helmet and my exhaust. I come up here, and I tell her, with him, whoever that'll be with. This right here is called a crank handle. This is how I raise it up and down. Crank handle, properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing any hardware. It is in the stowaway position. And then I come over here. This is the exhaust right here. It's properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing any hardware. There's no cracks and soot. There's no crack and soot. If you see a lot of soot coming around there, you know you got some leaks in that exhaust. So you need to replace it. And that's basically it, man. Came on, went off. Next test will be my leak test. Put my foot on the pedal. My truck should not leak no more than 4 psi within 1 minute. When my needle stabilized, I would ask you to count for me. Needle start moving. I'm moving a little bit. And moving. Now stop. Would you count for me? 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. Time's up. My truck did not lose no more than 4 psi within 1 minute. The truck has passed the test. Next test will be my low air warning light. It will come on at 55 or above psi. I will fan that brake into the low air warning light. Come on. My low air warning properly came on at 60 psi. The truck passed the test. Next test will be my protection valves. My protection valves should pop out between 20 to 45 psi. I will fan the brakes until they pop out. My protection valve popped out at between 20 to 40 psi. The truck is passed the test. Now we'll get out to remove my charge. Put the chalk back in the wheel. I'm entering the truck with 3 points of contact. Arms out. Put the neutral. Same shit I did from the beginning. I'm talking about like memory. Right? Switch to the on position. ABS light came on. My DPF light came on. They both went off. My governor should cut out between 120 and 140 psi. While I'm waiting on my governor to cut out, I'll do an in-cab inspection. This will be my second safety start. My seatbelt. Yep. That's exactly right. So I don't have to speed it up to build up this time. Yeah, because I got to do my inspection on my in-cab stuff. All right, the seatbelt. It latches and unlatches. It's properly mounted and secured. Not cracked, been broken, not missing any hardware. It's not ripped or torn. These are my side mirrors. On my traffic monitoring devices, they are properly mounted and secured. Not cracked, been broken, not missing any hardware. They are adjusted to me, and there is no illegal stickers blocking my view. My windshield is properly mounted and secured. Not cracked, been broken, not missing any hardware. It's not cracked. And it's not cracked and broken. My windshield seals, they do not leak. And there's no illegal stickers blocking my view. Now, I'm still on the windshield. I want to make sure you watch me closely, because everything on the windshield, I'm going to do it. I'm going to use with the windshield wipers on there. So when I leave the windshield, go to the windshield wipers. That's giving you a system. I'm not even worried about it. You want to develop a system. My windshield wipers work properly. and windshield wiper fluid works properly. I'm on my windshield. Guess what? I'm using that knob over here. So now I'm gonna do my left turn signal because my hand is on that same knob, so I can. I'm using a system. My right turn signal works. So I'm doing the signal light. So guess what? I'm gonna continue to do my signal. My four-way flasher works. My low beam works because I'm on the light. My high beam works. All my lights I've done already. My city horn work. My air horn work. My DEF should have at least 1/8 of depth in it at all times. Now I'm checking my heat and my defrost. Well, you don't really have to turn that on because it could be hot or cold. It ain't gonna really. You just do a simulation. My heat works. My defrost works. Now I'm gonna go to my emergency equipment. My fire extinguisher, fully charged and up to date. It is properly mounted and secured. Not crap, it's broken, not missing any hardware. I have my rear reflective triangles right here. There you go, right there. I have my 6 spare fuses right here, right there. And now you're gonna think about it and see what you missed. If you ain't missed nothing, you tell her once again. My governor should cut out between 120 because you have to multitask when you're doing this. Because you waiting on that governor to cut out. My governor should cut out between 120 and 140. And it ain't because if you know your truck when you go up there, you'll see that the governor cut out down here. And you see it right there, it's about the 100 mark. So now I got to give you some gas to get the governor to cut out. You have to back up. So now when it cut out, you do your toe test, and that's it.